There has been an awful lot of response to the Good Desert Open, and this is something that I wanted to break down for you guys, but I was kind of waiting. I was waiting for a moment, I was waiting for a spark, I was waiting for something I could really show and dive into and compare to, and we have that today. Rick Shiels has gone on his podcast, which was released earlier this morning, and offered his criticism of the Good Desert Open. I want to break it down and use his examples because in my mind, Rick Shiels is, like he said in his podcast, the grandfather, the godfather, I would call him, of YouTube golf. And his opinion does carry weight, and the points which he made, I think, are ones very much worth discussing. So we're going to get into it today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you appreciate this content. This is super unrelated, but this was just my favorite YouTube video of the week so far. Also part 2 on Brian Bros' channel, but I'm the biggest Brian Bros fan. Like, just straight up. Like, there are channels where I'm just a fan. I just love watching them, and Brian Bros is up there. Foreplay is one of them. Brian Bros one. I just love watching Wesley and George. George is the nicest character on planet Earth and an incredible golfer. Wesley is just my kind of guy, like a dry humor, chirp. Like, I can't wait to get to know him even better. I feel like we have a good relationship, but I feel like him and I could go back and forth quite well, and I love watching these guys play golf. So that's the double wrister for those boys. Check these videos out, both Grant's video and the one uploaded this morning on Brian Bros. For Waste Management, I believe 1v1v1 match. This isn't going to ruin anything other than maybe like the first 2 holes, but go check it out anyways. My personal news, real quick. I'm on 2 weeks in a row of daily uploads. I've uploaded every single day for the last 2 weeks. Tomorrow will be the 14th upload. And yesterday, I did something kind of incredible. I made a video like maybe 8-10 days ago talking about how my goal for 2024 was to try to shoot an under par 18 holes. Yesterday I went out, I was filming my round as usual. I'm vlogging, I'm filming all of my golf. If you ever want to see me play golf or train for golf or anything, daily vlogs, that's where I'm posting all my golf content, every single round of golf I play. Anyways, filmed the round yesterday at Fraser View, par 72, 6,700 yard golf course in winter conditions here in Vancouver, and I shot under par. I won't tell you the exact number. Wow, I shot 70. It's in the tunnel. I shot 70. I shot 2 under par. I won't ruin this, but I made 2 eagles. It was just crazy. So if you want to see that, I'll link it, first link in the description. Check it out and go subscribe to that channel because I'm going to be giving away a $100 good gift card on that channel. All you have to do is be subscribed. So go subscribe to that channel. All right, sorry, I know that was a lot. Let's dive into everything Rick Shiels has to say. So he had, in my opinion, kind of 3 main criticisms to the Good Desert Open. He said he watched it, and first and foremost, he gave kudos to the guys. He said, like, good job for everything, you put on. Clearly, it was a spectacular event. They got all these big name creators out. They had the NBC partnership. They had a really solid live stream. They did a lot of things really right. However, there is some criticism that he offered that was also a lot of the criticism that was echoed by you guys and things I kind of wanted to touch on anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clips from Rick. I'm just going to kind of cut it so you can hear the main points of criticism from him, and then we're going to jump back in and discuss them all together.
Touch on this anyway. Obviously, the last week, was it this time last week or tomorrow last week, was the Good Desert Open.
Yes.
The first live golf event on YouTube, and I spoke about it openly a couple of weeks ago that I couldn't make it, unfortunately, quite literally because of logistical reasons. Also, I made a huge promise to my daughters that I'd be at their dance show, which would have clashed with it, and so unfortunately that had to come also as a priority. But just logistically trying to get over there in the time frame after flying back from Orlando, it just could not have happened. It was impossible, which was really frustrating. I wish I'd known more in advance about it. However, there is another live event which has been planned for June, I think it is. If I can make that, I will do my best to do so. I think possibly in the future, maybe night golf wasn't the best idea in the world. It didn't make the imagery look quite as good, but I understood why they wanted to potentially do it at night. It's that point of difference. It's not a normal golf event. I just thought it was brilliant. It was a little bit of a shame that it went onto a platform after 9 holes. It went on to Peacock, which in the outside of the US you can't actually register to. So that was a little bit of a shame. I would have loved to have seen it fully on YouTube, just as a fan. Like I was up. I mean, it was the wrong time of day for me because it was over in Arizona. I wanted to watch pretty much every single bit of it, and I kind of got through it and I was like ready to wake up in the morning to go back and watch the back 9. I couldn't. It wasn't available up until later, and did release it on their YouTube channel. Yeah. There's just a little bit of feedback, and this is from viewers as well as me. I think that a lot of people shared that same opinion, that it was a shame it went on to Peacock at halfway, which again, I understand it from a financial thing. And then the other thing, it seemed like they featured on 5 or 6 key players and they didn't really show the whole field, which again, that must have been a logistical nightmare. Like, we have genuinely looked into live streaming a golf event. We've talked about doing the YouTube major, trying to get everybody into one place, which already is logistically hard because everyone has schedules, busy schedules, albeit that. And then also trying to live streaming events as such a standard. It's bloody hard, but kudos to the lads. They've gone out there and done it. I'd have loved to have been involved in it. I really would have been.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be in the same order that he just said them in, but we're going to go through those points and kind of how my thoughts on all of them. So first and foremost, number one, he said the night golf, maybe not do that again. I think I would agree with that. I think it definitely, he said, and I agree, made the image quality lesser. It made it look like less good quality because of the fact that, I mean, cameras just don't work as well at night and work as well with spotlights. That's just like basics. They just don't look as good as if it's like perfectly lit during the day, natural lighting. So the fact that it was filmed at night, it was cool, and I get why they wanted to do it. And Rick mentioned it, that like it separated it a little bit from just like a, you know, this isn't a normal golf event, so we're not filming it in a normal golf way. So it wasn't at night, or it was at night, sorry, and it achieved that separation, and it did have a cool factor. And I think if you were there in person, the night golf thing was actually so cool. But watching it on the broadcast, where the vast majority of people were consuming it from, it didn't look as cool. So I would completely agree with that criticism. I would say, obviously, the next event, being a par or 72 golf course, it's 18 holes, it's going to be filmed in daylight, so that won't be a continuing issue, but that's a valid criticism. The next piece of feedback Rick had that, again, I think was one that was echoed very strongly. It's one we actually did touch on a little bit on a video I posted the day after the tournament, but it was the broadcast, and the fact that the broadcast started on YouTube and then switched over to a streaming service, which I think the biggest critique of that is that that streaming service was only available for purchase inside the US. I don't think it is at all possible, even using a VPN, if you don't have an American credit card, to subscribe to Peacock anywhere else in the world. I could be wrong, but I don't think all these other people, including Rick, would be saying they had no way to watch it if it was in fact possible. I know I've tried to watch things on Peacock before, and it won't let me sign up because it says even if I put in an American address in, the credit card has to match that, and if it's not an American credit card, it also won't let you do it. So that's the issues I've run into before. And again, Rick said this from his fan perspective, and I said in my video, I completely agree from a fan perspective. If I was watching this as a fan at home, I of course would have been upset that I just lost half the event. I was going to get the finish of it spoiled on Instagram, and even though they were uploading it the next day to YouTube, it was already going to be too late, and I'm probably not going to sit down and watch it. Like, you want to sit down with your drinks and your popcorn and your friends, and you want to watch this event, and you want to watch it all the way through and see who wins. So I get that, and that is, I think, something that Good and whoever is putting on these events is going to have to make a decision on moving forward. Rick obviously said that, you know, he thinks it's like a funding thing, and the expense and the fact that you probably have to share with Peacock, and I totally get that, and I think that may have been a reality of it. I know for a fact, Good has said this to me a million times, that they were losing money on this event, so I don't know, you know, if that was just a way to hopefully lose a little less money, but regardless, I think they're going to have to make a decision. It's either the split thing, I think, is just not going to work, and I think going forward, hopefully that's not what happens, because if it's all on NBC's Peacock and the whole thing's there, then you know going into it, whether you can watch it or not, you know that, like, all right, it's streaming on here. If the next day it's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, I'll try to stay off my phone and just ignore everything, and I'll watch it the next day on YouTube. But it's when it's like this split tease, I think that's what a lot of people are having issues with. Now, in a perfect world, I would say that if this could be just streamed fully on YouTube, that would be incredible. I just don't, and this isn't from any conversations I've had with anyone inside Good, this is just my own speculation, but I would say it's probably near impossible to get NBC to do the entire broadcast, but then not have it go on any of NBC's platforms, just have it go on Good's YouTube channel. Or if they are doing that, it would probably cost such an insane amount of money, it won't even be possible. Because I'm sure, from everything I've heard, even getting them to do this like half split broadcast, they had to pay them a ton of money. So I think, you know, hopefully going forward, this thing has been big enough that they'll be able to command money, but there's going to have to be a decision made. It's going to either be, I think, have to be solely on YouTube or solely off platform. And if they're looking to move it off platform, I said this in my last video, I don't hate that. Like, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a YouTube nerd, I love YouTube, but if you're telling me that there's going to be a quarterly event, let's just say on average, quarterly event that lives somewhere else other than YouTube, that's a combination of YouTube Golf's best, that potentially could reach an audience that might not be tuning into YouTube golf, and it just kind of creates like something a little different. I'm fine with that because it's different. It's not like this is going to be mandatory that every YouTuber posts every single YouTube video from here on out on Peacock and YouTube golf is dead. It's not what it means. Like, it just means that, 4 events a year are going to be streamed somewhere else. So I wouldn't be mad at that. I just think there's going to need to be a decision made between where it's going to. The final criticism Rick had, at least the one I'm going to touch on, that is one I've seen from you guys a million times and I have yet to talk about, but I do have some thoughts on, is the fact that in the broadcast, there was very few groups shown. Rick said kind of 4 to 5 like key players were shown. And I saw that from all angles from you guys. Now, obviously, so the broadcast itself, from what I saw, it definitely did feature a couple main groups. I didn't watch every second of the broadcast. I went back and I watched a decent amount of it just so I could be educated for this video. But obviously I was there and I watched the whole thing live. So, I wasn't watching it at the time. But there definitely was a lot of comments from you guys, a lot of community conversation about who was shown and who wasn't. And I think that is all very valid. I really do. I think that is something that, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people would assume like a good amount of, Grant and Micah was shown, obviously. A good amount of Brad and Michael Block was shown. But, even within Good, no Bubby. Like, that was one of the biggest comments I got was like, nobody saw a single shot of Bubby's. He was on an earlier group. He was playing with all the baseball guys. So the featuring and the broadcasting, although they had a relatively large field, it didn't feel like it because it was only a very select few shown. And a lot of people complained that even the top group who ended up winning, Ben and Ashton, they didn't have a ton of their shots shown either. And so, listen, if you watch a PGA Tour event, you are really, really only seeing consistent shots of like the leaders. Like, you really are. Like the top 3, maybe 5 guys, not even groups, guys. And then you'll see the odd highlight shot from, if someone does something really crazy. But I don't know how far off this was from like how they would broadcast a PGA Tour event. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, I will agree that I think this is different, and I think the fact that like they have all these creators who made all this effort to come out and whatever, and like there could be some level of like, well, you owe it to them to put them on the broadcast. But once again, like, I don't think Good was necessarily behind it running the broadcast. Like, I think they had probably insight and say into it, but NBC was running it, and NBC is probably trying to do what they would do in main golf, which is like follow the big names, follow the people. The most amount of people tuning into this broadcast, who are they looking to watch? We're going to highlight them. That's probably the logic. So, I don't know. If Good was in charge of that, obviously I think that's something that they could, have some feedback in for next time. I think that was something that the community really wanted. But also, like, logistically, I just don't know how it happens. I think it could be cool if there was any way where you could have, which they do on like some of the websites, I think, for the PGA Tour, where you have like the ability to specifically, I think they do this at the Masters, follow a group. Like, you can just pick what group you want and you can watch every shot from them. There might not be commentary, but you can watch every shot from them. That would be cool, because if a creator is coming in with their audience and their audience is coming only to see that creator, even the same argument as like friends and family and parents, like the Caitlin, Paige's partner, talked about how her whole family was there and wanting to watch her, or not there, but like watching the broadcast, and they saw like one shot from Paige and like that was it, and they were kind of upset about that. So it would be cool if, as a fan of the creator or a family member or whatever, you could select the creator group and follow them along. So listen, at the end of the day, I think everything that was said, both by you guys in the community, by Ricky or whatever, they are all things that could be improved for sure. But I think it's important to remember, again, that this is the first. This was the proving ground. There was no doubt that there were going to be things that could be improved upon in this. And the only way you can learn how to make it better is by making mistakes and then learning and growing from them. So I think obviously anything that Good can fix will hopefully be fixed in the next one. But overall, Rick said it too, they did an amazing job. They killed it. For the first live broadcasted event, they did a lot of things right. And I think overall, people were generally satisfied with it. So one of the last interesting points, I think I probably played the clip of it, but Rick did mention, again, that, if I had gotten some notice, I just love that. It's like, it's very true. He had a lot of real reasons. He talked about him in depth in that, how like his daughter had like a recital or dance something, and he promised her he'd be good guy Rick, like good guy Rick, good dad Rick. That's awesome. Like, nothing against Rick here. I just think it's hilarious how he keeps throwing that out there, because it's true, but it's also kind of funny. But he did mention the French lick one, and that is a good amount of notes. That's like 6 months ish, 5 months notice. for the one going down in Indiana. And so I think, you know, if they have that event with this amount of notice, and Rick did say he's going to try to be there, I hopefully think that this amount of notice should guarantee that he would be there, unless it's his choice not to go, in which case we'll have a little drama. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I wanted to react to it. I wanted to get my thoughts on it, show you guys that clip, and I want to hear your thoughts on it, as always, in the comments below. So drop them down. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, fam.